Now we're going to solve this quadratic equation by this process called completing the square. So to complete the square, the first step is we want the number in front of x squared to be 1. This example, it already is 1. In the next example, I'll do an example where it isn't. But once it's 1, then take whatever the constant is and move it to the other side. So I subtract 3 from both sides. We get x squared minus 8x. Now leave a little space here to complete the square. Goes that up to 0. And on the other side, we get negative 3. Now this is what you do to complete the square. Take the number in front of x, which is negative 8, and divide it by 2. Then we square that result. Negative 8 over 2 is negative 4, and negative 4 squared is positive 16. So we add 16 to both sides. This is always going to factor to x plus half of that number. The half of negative 8 is negative 4, and this factors to x minus 4 squared. On the other side, 16 plus negative 3 is 13. Now just to go back here, if you multiply this out just to illustrate, if you multiply x minus 4 squared, that means x minus 4 times x minus 4. When you multiply, you get x squared minus 4x is minus 8x plus 16. So this, we completed the square. This is now a perfect square. So that's why it's completing the square. Now we're back to what we did in the last video. Use the square root property. So we take the square root of both sides and the square root of x squared, and they cancel each other. Don't forget your plus and minus when you take the square root of a square. And now we add 4 to both sides. And we get x is equal to, those cancel, 4 plus and minus the square root of 13. Again, this means there's two answers. One answer is 4 plus the square root of 13. The other answer is 4 minus the square root of 13. And if I were to take either of those answers and plug it in here for x, it would equal 0.